Stop that. Stop that. Stop that. I hear him chat from the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the walking. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Cold like 0 degrees. I'm out the cage, gotta let out the beast. Revolutionary, gotta let out the streets. Locked in a cage, I'ma let out the sheets. You can't go one man, forget my peace. You take the west side, take on the east. I'ma put him in the cage, never let out the. I hear him chat to the noise. Move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I hear him chat with the boys. Not so tough, but mans keep walking, yeah. Just too sharp with the prize. White girls better tell me I'm awesome, yeah. Hot like fire on the pan. If you wanna touch my please use caution. Stop that. Stop that. Stop that.
I have to start off by issuing a couple of apologies. I lied a couple times yesterday, and it was just this sort of burning in my heart that I felt all day long. And once I realized it wasn't heartburn, I was like, that's why. Because I told 2 lies on yesterday's show as far as I can remember, and I have to apologize. Neither of the people I'm apologizing to are here, though. Tom Brady's the first person. It's insignificant, really. But when I said my Achilles was barking the whole time I was running on the treadmill, it was not. I felt fine.
Wow.
I was just trying to lure Tom Brady into the race with a lie. It didn't really work.
Stugotz is strong on you.
Thank you. The second apology, and he's not here, unfortunately, is to Jeremy.
Wow.
Jeremy Taché. I consider myself a man of faith. No, that's another lie. I'm sorry. I apologize. I apologize, Jeremy, for treating you the way I treated you yesterday after he tried to institute some heat talk, right? We tried to talk some heat. We asked for it, and then just the tone that it was coming out in, it was just a little too Jeremy, and we just didn't love it, and so I stopped him, and I feel terrible because I think the audience is now turned to defending Jeremy.
I wouldn't go that far.
No?
I think
Segments of the audience, at least?
Hold on. Are you apologizing for treating Jeremy badly, or are you apologizing for making Jeremy a sympathetic character?
No, you're right. I should follow through. I'm apologizing for lying because I actually wanted to hear him continue talking about the Heat. But as I said on the show, I was thinking about that one fan in Minnesota, and he's just like, I'm going to turn this thing off because we're still talking about the Miami Heat, the team that finished 8th in the East last season.
I feel like we're at a spot with Jeremy where every few weeks we try to reset and like, all right, Jeremy, we're going to do this again. Try to talk Heat. And there's just something, like you said, there's something about when he starts that we all feel this need to undercut.
Well, it maybe has something to do with number 3 being the power of friendship. Because for me, that was I also, Chris, I'm with you. I'm like, let's hear him out. And then he says the power of friendship, and I'm like, oh no.
But if you put the power of friendship as a title and insert it into Tony's top 5, it wouldn't be terrible,
Then
right?
it's a banger. No, it's not a banger.
Well,
So I think it has
someone else
something
did
to do
first.
with his presentation. So
The vibes.
It's the vibes. He's either the stats guy who's telling
He's
you
too earnest.
So earnest.
pedantic. He's either the stat guy giving you all the reasons, or he's giving you, the power of friendship. And so, yeah, I think we still got to work that out. All right. So I apologize to Jeremy. I lied. I definitely wanted to talk Heat. One day we'll keep talking
One
Heat.
day.
Izzy, I think the issue with Jeremy, and I need to coach him about it, is he needs more flair. He needs more pomp and
I think less flair.
circumstance. No, he delivers it.
Those are two very opposing pieces of advice you're
Yeah.
offering. One saying more flair and one saying less flair.
He needs more flair.
Okay.
He needs to be like Ric Flair out there. He needs to say things in a way that get people going, right? Like he delivers it, even though his tone changes a little bit. He needs to deliver with more excitement.
I think it's that whatever he's actually saying, all people are hearing is, I love this team so much.
In that same voice, yeah.
It's the best team ever.
That's the thing. He's bought and paid for. I'm not. So I can be Flair with the dramatic. I'm not bought and paid for.
There's where I'll pull back a little bit on the bought and paid for stuff, because I know I would hate that if that was said about me. I, aspire to be objective. At least I have in my whole career. Jeremy is one of those. He is one of us. He wants to be objective. And so that's why, as I said, give me the stats, and then just sort of laughed at power of friendship. It's like, okay, that is a little bit of the bought and paid for element.
I actually don't think any of your hypotheses are accurate. I think that this group in particular feeds everyone here, feeds off of being able to pounce on the
Yeah.
perceived weakest link.
You
and
guys are
so
mean.
yeah, I think
Yeah.
we all,
You all, yeah.
Some of
including
us,
people who
right.
are not here
all
today,
all y'all.
we all need someone that we can be mad at.
Roy's
or-
the worst at this, right? Roy
Yes,
looks
Roy's
for the
for
chance
sure
to
the
just
meanest.
pounce on anybody.
Yeah, because I'm an asshole, and that's what usually happens.
I don't think you are, Roy.
Oh, thank you, Billy.
Makes
I
you
just
feel
think-
better.
I appreciate
I
it.
think you're just
Bear.
trying to get in and get out.
Yeah.
Jer-
Of work? Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Billy. Jer Bear talking about the Heat provides us that easy bait to just jump on.
I think it's because there are people here who, like I said, maybe think that the Heat talk is a little too local. And so
As opposed to Panthers.
Well, they're not nationally relevant, so.
right. And so
the Panthers are.
the counter is to just, beat him over the head when he starts talking about it. We really want to hear this, but shut up.
Yeah, when you say he needs more flair, I have an idea, and let's just amongst us friends, if I'm not being too forward and assuming we're friends, I feel like we could tell Jeremy he needs more flair, and we can get him to wear flared pants, right? Like when he wants to talk about certain things, like we just get him to
bell
wear
bottoms?
like bell bottoms.
How's
Then we
that
can't
helpful
see
on the
them.
show?
Yeah. we
No,
can't
well, I
see
mean,
them.
the guy does one whiteboard one time and it went well. So every day he's coming in, he's like, I have a whiteboard. So like you can definitely see his pants because he's going to offer you a
The
whiteboard.
corn hacky
yeah,
thing,
whether
yeah.
you
Those
like
waist
it or
high.
not.
Corn hacky just from 1976. But Chris says he needs less flair. So what kind of, where is the...
flared shorts? Maybe do they make such a thing?
Slim fit.
I'm in on flare shorts.
Yeah.
Maybe I jumped the gun there.
How did we just quick
Yes.
trying to figure this out. We
Recap.
had multiple playoff games. We had a Thursday night football game. We're in the middle of the WNBA finals, and we started the show talking about Jeremy.
Yeah, and the Miami Heat.
Ah.
Because, hey, that's what we do. Did we want to talk about Shohei Ohtani? Because it would be great if Stu were here to back up his take of do it with nobody on base. I did back him up a little bit yesterday with the.
You got a little egg on your face, Izzy. You got to go like that.
I did. It was great because I loved seeing it on social, and I couldn't think of a counter. Like I was trying to figure out where Stugotz would go, and the answer was home. He just didn't come in today because he didn't want to have to deal
Just
with
like
Shohei
Shohei, he went
Ohtani.
home.
I've reached out for comment, so we'll see what
okay.
Stugotz says.
So for those who don't know, yesterday Stu said, "Do it with nobody on base," because Shohei's postseason numbers have been the only times he's gotten hits has been with folks on base, which some would say is the more difficult situation, but Stu would say the opposite at just the right time. A little bit later in October, which is what he asked for previously, do it later in October, he hit a solo home run, which...
The
now
second
that-
pitch of the game.
Second pitch of the game. Does anybody think that he heard Stugotz?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
said yes.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. He just having to do it. So, yes, I think he heard Stugotz.
I mean, we all know what the pivot will be now for Stugotz, right?
What's that?
It's pretty obvious.
Do it with even less men on base?
Do it in the World Series.
He's about to.
I would.
But until he does it,
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody had brought up the numbers with nobody on base because Stugotz probably stole that take from somebody. The Shohei thing I think is hilarious, but Chris, you said the other series is a terrible series.
it's been terrible. No, that series. No, I'm talking about.
I'm
the
sorry,
Dodgers
this series has been the terrible series.
Dodgers Mets has been terrible. Like there hasn't been a close game. Game 2, I think, was 7-3, and it's outside of the interest in Ohtani. This would be a real snoozer.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because after that first inning, once he did that, there's nothing more to watch.
Like
I
give
feel
me
like-
a compelling game.
Yeah.
Is all I'm asking for.
So we'll skip the baseball talk and go straight to.
Well, there was a great baseball game in Cleveland yesterday.
Was there? Well, we'll get to
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
There's the
exciting.
Cleveland coming back. Yeah,
Tell
the
us
Yankees.
about
Big
it.
Christmas.
Aaron Judge
Good
finally
nickname.
So good.
Aaron Judge finally does something in the playoffs, and then the bullpen blows it.
But do we want to talk about that, or do we want to talk about what? And I want to quote Billy accurately here: a controversy that is ripping this company apart. Which is more a talker?
The funny thing is,
Got to be more specific.
Big Christmas isn't even the best nickname.
Okay,
It
but
should
this
be
is where we're going.
It
All right.
should be.
Big
You want me to
Hanukkah?
give you what it should be? Big Christmas is good. It should be Papa Noel, which is Santa Claus,
Yeah.
It's not
but in
terrible.
Spanish.
So, Billy, this controversy that is ripping this company apart. I know this is sort of your specialty, which is sort of getting.
I'm a unifier.
Okay, I was going to say getting Tony all riled up, but I'll say your specialty is being a unifier.
Yeah.
What is the controversy that is ripping
Ripping
this company apart?
I didn't realize it was ripping the company apart until I came in this morning and I saw how much. anger, dare I say, there was around even the conversation. So Tony comes here to work, as he'll tell you.
Thank you.
Even when he's not on the schedule, he comes here to work. So the other day, we finished recording the show, and I walked out, and I saw Tony. I said, "Oh, hey, Tony, what's up? How's it going? Like, when did you get here?" Because, like, I didn't leave the studio that day. I was just in there from when we started recording to when we left. I didn't, like, go to the bathroom or whatever. So I don't know what time people come in. Right? So
usually when he's here, he's just talking with Frankie out there and just, like, chopping it up in Spanish.
Yeah, but
so
he could have gotten here at, like, 9:30. He could, whatever. It was, like, after 12. So I was like, I didn't know how long you'd been. Like, oh, how long you been here? He's like, oh, I just got here, 10 minutes ago. I'm like, what are you doing here? Like, day's done of recording. He's like, oh, I came here to work. And
These are very important details.
No, they are. I was like, he's like, I came here to work.
The table.
And I'm like, well, what did you come here to work on? And he's like, Tony's Tears. And I was like, okay, where's that airing? He's like, what do you mean? I'm work. I was like, okay, but where are you putting it? He's like, YouTube. I was like, okay, cool. So I didn't know Tony's Tears was a thing that was happening on YouTube. So this has been.
And Tony's Tears is a listing of.
I
rankings.
wasn't certain at the time, but I didn't want any more follow-ups because he seemed to be getting testy when I was asking him what he was doing at work on his day that he wasn't scheduled to be here. So he recorded Tony's Tears, and then yesterday Tony's Tears were released. So, like, I'll have you guys know, Tony put in a lot of work. He did the prep. He came in on a day he wasn't scheduled. He sat down. He did a whole recording session for Tony's Tears. So, like, this was just to tell you how much work Tony put into Tony's Tears and how much thought and effort go into Tony's Tears. He has a whole team around him helping him with the tears. Taylor's there, sharing his Taylor's Tears with Tony's Tears, and they go out as Tony's Tears.
Fuentes' Tears was there too. Because Cody's Tears were also there.
Tears everywhere.
Yeah, I mean,
Ethan's Tears were also flowing.
Yeah. Well, after he hears Mystery Crate, more of those. So anyway,
he already heard Mystery Crate.
Yeah, Izzy, why'd you tell him to listen to that?
Why not?
And
It's his time.
I'm the one who's wrong about us all being bullies.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring us together. So
The great unifier.
the Tony's Tears came out yesterday.
Spoiler alert, Patrick Mahomes not in the Patrick Mahomes tier.
Hold on, people haven't seen
Is
it.
that
Just
the
send
controversy?
Send them to YouTube. You can go to YouTube.
Listen,
and see
gotta
Chris,
give us spoilers.
You got to tell people in about 24 minutes, Billy's going to get there.
Yeah, Tony's
Continue,
Tears. Go to YouTube. You can find Tony's Tears. And I thought I heard, and I Tony, forgive me, I didn't check on the YouTube. I heard there was a college Tears also. I don't know if that's come out yet or if that's going to come out or if you recorded that or not.
That may be maybe getting recorded today.
Maybe, if you're allowed
Tony's
to, because
CFB Tears.
Here's the problem. Tony's Tears came out and received a lot of criticism from fans and, coworkers alike. And I'm going to be honest with you. I saw the criticism and I heard it. And at first observance of the Tears, I kind of felt the same way. I was like, oh, so like this is what Big Cat does at Barstool. Like you're doing a quarterback Tears list and you're just putting like funny names next to the things, whatever, right? But like I kept that observation to myself. I just thought like, oh, whatever. But it's.
Can we just get a quick screen grab of Tony here? Where this posture, which is just the best,
it did change.
Defensive posture, but knowing that he has to take this
more
for
my
like another
stance
15 minutes.
No, defensive stance for me is more like this right here.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for you to go left, go right.
You never know which way
right
Billy's
here.
going.
So, anyways, I saw it and I kind of thought to myself like, oh, I don't know about that. And then Tony was like implicitly told, don't rip off Barstool again, and that set everybody off at the office that was involved in the making of Tony's Tears. And they were out here this morning just kind of screaming at each other back and forth. They're like, oh, I'm sorry.
With each other.
Are we allowed to talk about football anymore? Like, we can't do any rankings? We can't do anything? So, like, they got very defensive at the idea that Tony put out a segment that looked similar
Wait a
to...
second.
The question here is, who invented Tears?
Exactly. So Barstool has a quarterback tier segment, and they were the inventor of that?
the optics, like the actual look of the graphic that was put out is exactly the
The
same.
actual
The
look
tier
of the
the
graphic.
tier maker is a website that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with any sort of media outlet whatsoever. It's its own website
Tiermaker.com.
that you create tiers for whatever you want, whether it be pizza, whether it be your favorite sodas,
Don't do
whether
pizza
it be your
reviews.
favorite NASCAR drivers.
If you
I know
do more than one bite.
they own that too.
You
I
already
know.
did a pizza review.
Did you?
Yeah, remember?
Pizza list. Yeah.
You take more than
it
one-
was a horrible
one
pizza
bite?
list.
It's 25. No,
Yes.
I ate all the bites. But
So Tua at good enough?
Tua is good enough. Number one offense last
He's been
year.
out for a month.
I know, but number one offense last year. Like if he's healthy, he's good enough to make it to the playoffs.
What is good enough?
Big if.
Good enough to make it to the
playoffs, yes.
is the list. Okay,
Yes.
but so it's just the look. You don't have the same names of the tiers. You don't have the same quarterbacks
Well, that's the
on the
gimmick.
same
Is
respective
it
tiers.
it changes weekly. So like the tiers will have different names, and then the people get plugged in. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, and Tony's probably getting mad at this, when I saw it, I thought it was not Tony. I saw it and I was like, oh, there's a Patrick Mahomes thing, and Patrick Mahomes not in. Like, that's clever. And then I like swiped to the
And
side
because
and go,
it was clever, is that why you thought it
no, I
wasn't
swiped to
Tony?
the side and go, what's Tony doing in here? And then I saw what was going on. I was like, oh, there's a confusion here.
So how do we solve this issue? Can we just reverse the colors? Can we?
Sure, I can use a different tier maker website if that makes people happy. I mean,
They were very upset out there, all the people that are involved with Tony's tiers, to the point that like they had screenshots of like a number of different media outlets using tier maker as a defense of like, we didn't steal this. Look, everyone has stolen this.
And is that not usable evidence? Can we not just defend Tony in that way? Others have done it, so why can't he do that?
Well, I mean, I think that the defense was, look, other people have stolen this idea too, so we can steal it as well.
guys, we're in 2024.
Yeah.
We've been ranking quarterbacks since the beginning of time.
I mean,
Yeah.
did
We've been
Stugotz
ranking
not just say
quarterbacks.
that into Michelle Beadle's chest when he was at ESPN? I want to rank quarterbacks. It's the same
People
thing.
feel like this weird thing of like, oh, that's only for these people. Oh, they can only use it. It's like, guys, Big Cat can rank quarterbacks. I can rank quarterbacks. Roy can rank quarterbacks. Izzy can rank quarterbacks. Jess can rank quarterbacks. Mike Fuentes can rank quarterbacks. Kirsten can rank quarterbacks.
Ethan cannot.
I don't think I can rank quarterbacks.
Why not?
If you wanted to, I'd support you. And if you want to use Tier Maker, I'd also support you. You know
think-
why? Because it's a free website that I don't have to pay for, that puts all my things in a tier, and then I can name them whatever I want.
How about this? We don't call it tiers.
But
Well,
it's Tony's
change the
tiers,
name.
though. But it's
Yeah,
Tony's
yeah, that's
call
the
it.
problem,
It
though.
rhymes. He has the rhyme.
Yeah,
thing.
I understand the alliteration and everything, but
What's your last name?
how about we change it?
To what?
Haven't figured that out yet. How about shelves?
I have a Tony Shelves.
Tony's
No, it doesn't
Shelves?
work.
I don't
like
Tony
that one.
shelves.
Sounds
no.
like we're saving it for
No.
later.
Yeah,
just kind
yeah,
of
it's still
shelving
work
it.
shopping here. You know.
How about just levels? There are levels to this, and these are the quarterback
Levels.
But I thought the
Quarterback levels,
controversy was because of who is at what level. Because you've got
No.
a Patrick
That was
Mahomes
also-
level, as was said.
that was
who
also a
does
big
not
controversy.
include Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, people
Pyramids.
were upset. People were upset that Caleb wasn't higher. People were like, how can you say that? Let me see. Who else is on there?
Boy.
How can you say that Sam Darnold isn't, the jury's still out? Like, he's good enough. And it's like, well, no, not really. This is the first 5 games he's ever done it before in his entire life.
It
The
looks
org
like-
Jury's
chart.
still out.
It looks like we have a video from Tony's Tears. No, it looks like we have a video right here from Tony's Tears. Should we play it?
Go to the
Fine, we don't
program.
have to. It's fine.
Why don't
it
you
wasn't
wanna-
working in it wasn't loading up.
No, I think it's loading.
okay, that's
Why
I
don't
your
see it
excuse.
right here.
Yeah, why don't we play it
It's
right now?
frozen.
on
It's not going to
It's
work,
frozen.
so we're not.
Yeah,
going
let's
to.
play it.
I don't
Put it
know,
on the
I mean,
screen. Put it on the screen.
Jason,
Just put
down.
it up.
Jason,
Not
why don't you
happening.
play it, Jason?
What he's telling
Let's
you is
debate
it,
this
it
longer.
doesn't work.
I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's like I'm telling you guys, it's not working. Like, the
Really?
sound's not
Because it looks
Chris,
like
turn
it's
the
moving
pot
right
on.
now.
Okay.
Chris, raise the volume.
Come on.
Chris,
Come on.
Move on with the show.
why doesn't
Wow,
Chris want us
Chris
to play this
controlling
video?
it.
Wow, look
What
at
is
this
happening
executive
here?
producer.
This is
happening?
the most control Chris has
Chris
ever
is
shown
playing
here. I
actively
have
playing
no
defense
idea
against
what's
us for
happening
some reason.
right
I don't know
now.
what's going on. Were you told we're not allowed
Yes,
to
it's
play
not
it?
working. You guys are like, we
So
can,
there's no
we can
sound.
sit here if you guys want and just sit in this if you'd like.
There's
or we
no
can keep it
sound.
moving.
Roy, turn the sound on. The video is going to play. I don't know why Chris Cody
Wow,
is
this is
censoring
straight up
it.
insubordinate.
Well, it's on
I
his
was
side
just
of the
told we
board,
have a
though.
video
We
from
have a
Tony's
mute.
I
Tears.
think I can tell when people are lying, and Chris is doing a terrible job.
Exactly.
of
Jess
lying
doesn't know what
here.
she's talking about. It's not working.
Why don't you want to play the sound?
I don't know. I'm being. I'm only the traffic cop here, guys. I'm
No,
being told it's
this
not
will
working.
be the controversy that rips this company apart. Okay, I think mostly everybody here knows that you have that sound down,
Yeah.
and you are not playing it properly, and you probably look bad in this video. Is the only conclusion I can come
Well,
to.
hold on. He doesn't look bad because Tony's Tears was done at the end of the day, and we kind of have like a union shop here where at a certain
We have a
point,
union?
the camera operators don't do their job. They're like, hey, yeah, we'll just put one thing on, and then it'll just be you the entire time. So it was like 25 minutes of just me, right? But there was a bunch of people in this room.
That makes you guys
Tears
happy.
lasted for 25 minutes?
Yeah, but again, we had a lot of input. We had a lot of input from the group. We had a lot of input from the group. We had a lot of input.
How long is Tony's Tears?
I
It
want
was
to
tw-
watch this video.
It was 20 some odd
So
minutes.
do I. It stinks.
But the thing is, it doesn't change. Here's why you're not going to see Chris and him sitting in whatever he's about to do is because the camera angles don't change, so it's just focused on me the entire time.
Okay,
Holy
okay,
crap.
reset everything.
Your list of-
Reset
your
everything.
quarterback tier list is 29 minutes long.
So
If you want
That's
to watch it,
way too long, dude. Just put
explained-
out a list.
if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't.
Every
yesterday,
quarterback.
hold on, everybody, hold on. I just want to paint this picture one more time. Yesterday, Tony comes in when he's not scheduled to come in.
No, 2 days ago.
2 days ago.
Yeah.
That's important.
Maybe Monday.
this week.
No, it was Tuesday. It was Tuesday.
The point is he puts in work when he's not on the schedule.
When he wasn't on the schedule, came in and decided to do Tony's Tiers. Apparently used a website that everybody in sports uses, but got a lot of crap for using it because a large cat uses it. And then decided to do a 29-minute video
Explaining
which was at least, what is that, about a minute per quarterback? Are there even 29 quarterbacks in the league? That's too much. And now the controversy is what, Billy?
It's too long for Billy's liking.
Could have
but
been an
that's fine.
hour, honestly.
We could have gone more.
We tightened it up.
We did.
And within that 29 minutes, there was one camera only on Tony, despite the fact that Chris was there talking.
Despite the fact that Chris, Ethan, Fuentes, and Taylor were talking.
I have a defensive TV room in my headset giving
That's
me
fine.
more background as to what happened with the situation.
I know what
I
happened.
could give you the context if you'd like it as to why there was
Please.
only one camera. The story that I'm told in my headset was Tony never reserved the studio, so there wasn't a crew prepared for him to be using the studio at that time. And Taylor, who is the producer, made the decision to use only one camera.
Okay.
You gotta book the room,
that's-
buddy.
Takes a whole crew to make cuts, I guess.
So we can blame Taylor as to why we're not seeing
I'm not blaming
Chris.
anyone. I'm just giving a voice to the voiceless that keep talking in my headset.
That's fine. I'll do it. I can blame Taylor for not showing us Chris on the camera, but it is clearly Chris who is keeping us from hearing what's on that tape.
I'm telling you, did you not
Why
see-
don't
they-
you want-
They
why
cut
don't-
to the video. They were like, no.
Chris, just give it up. We want to hear the video.
They both
Just
told me in my
give
headset
up.
that it worked.
Release
and you
the
just had it
video.
muted.
Release the video.
All right, it's up. Go ahead, play it. Oh, it's not
that's-
working. Imagine that.
Chris.
That's the wrong pot they just.
Oh,
left
shit.
it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Here you go. Game with you guys one time. These two quarterbacks are exactly the same. And you just have to pick two quarterbacks that you think, in terms of like skill and their careers, like they're just exactly the same in terms of how good they are, our perception of them. Because I have a nominee. You guys want to hear it, or we'll save it for a different day?
No, say.
Geno Smith. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of forgot the other guy I was talking about.
Oh,
Who was the guy I was just talking to you about?
Sam
Taylor?
Darnold?
No, god damn it! I can't believe I'm
Geno
doing this
Smith?
now.
Keep this in. Yeah, I keep this in. It's like-
Well, that explains everything.
It finally
they
worked.
did you no
It ended up
favors.
being Geno Smith and Derek Carr have had a similar career. They're the same
They're the
quarterback.
same.
That's what
Tell me
Chris
I'm
was
wrong.
trying to say.
Derek
Nope.
Carr, Geno Smith.
Nope, we can't do that.
They're the same.
Did you not write anything down, Chris? I mean, talk about a bad time to have a camera being down. I would have just loved those 3 seconds of Chris's face just being like, what the hell am I thinking?
Big Cat's not doing that. I'll tell you that much.
We got to go Chris's Tiers, right? Or Chris's matchups where it's one person
Chris's
and then
sweat
it's just
trying
a
to think of
blank
Derek Carr.
silhouette.
Geno Smith.
All right, so if I have this correctly, someone's mad at you for
Everybody's always mad at
allegedly
me, but that's
ripping
fine.
off Big Cat's Tiers. Taylor is now beefing with you guys for some reason
Yeah, that's
because
fine.
he told the
Us?
video team they could go home because he didn't want them to cut from camera to camera. Now you guys are saying that he's a bad producer.
I didn't say
Chris
that.
is beefing with all of us because we just played that video. Who else is beefing right
telling you
now?
it was buffering. Like I played it as soon as I could.
Well, I would beef if I were. Can we put the graphic back up of Tony's Tiers? Because there are, 6, 7 tiers. One of them is bad. And there's only one person on it. And from here, I can't even tell
Aiden
who that is.
Aiden O'Connell.
Aiden
yeah.
O'Connell, even if I got closer, I couldn't tell you who that
Somehow
was.
Deshaun Watson, not bad.
No, because he's in the cooked, horrible
even worse.
category.
Why
Right.
is
Yeah,
jury
he's cooked.
still out dead last year?
Yeah, shouldn't jury still out
Yeah,
be
it'd be like
somewhere
right
in the
around the
middle?
middle.
Well, it's kind of
maybe
like the same
before
comment.
Matt?
It's kind of like
Yeah.
by itself in its own like bottom row.
Would
so
you
that
rather
way it
be
can move
meh
up.
or jury still out?
Jury's still
I
out.
would rather be jury
Okay.
still out because the jury came out on meh and they
Yeah,
said meh.
jury should be yellow, meh should be green, bad should be blue, cook should be purple.
I think we're now seeing how Tony's Tiers ended up being 29 minutes long. There's a lot. It's a meaty
Thank you.
meaty
In fairness,
topic.
Thank
he had less than a minute for each quarterback. If there's 32
Exactly.
On top of
teams.
that, this isn't even the official list or the
Oh.
official graphic. The
It's-
official graphic
wow.
has somebody much smaller in the good enough category. This has him far too big.
It's Kyler Murray.
Yeah, we have Kyler Murray very tiny in our real official one.
We released it with an unofficial graphic.
I do think that the main controversy here is that Patrick Mahomes is not in the Patrick Mahomes division. Can we call it the Lamar Jackson division?
Dan, what's that in your hand?
That was very natural, Mike, but I'm excited about this. It is a coloring book meant to celebrate our 20-year anniversary. We've always prided ourselves around here on having a different artistic look, and I like some of the pictures here. There is Roy and Mike as Riggs and Lethal. What is it? Thank you.
Actually, we can't use them to sell this book, so don't say their names.
Okay, I bleep that all out. I also have a meme here falling in American.
Can't say that either.
Greg Cody is wearing a...
that you can say.
Okay, thank you.
Well,
maybe.
Is
that
the
LSU
one or no? What is he wearing?
He's wearing that Zar.
Can't say that.
Can't
Strike
say
that from the
either.
record.
Okay. There is
Stugotz
his guy.
You cannot say his
can't
name.
say
So
it.
loud.
No,
That mayor of Flavortown, Dan.
That book is so much thicker than Stugotz's book.
LeBatardAF.com. It's a lot of fun. I urge you to check it out.
Natural transition from a coloring book to the bucket of death. We're really obsessed with death around here. We're all going to die. We have a bucket of death. The Reaper is in the back, and I believe Jess is ready. I've got a penalty to pay, by the way. I had the Denver Broncos last week, and I wanted to do the handcuff to a partner. I don't know what penalty that is.
Oh, yeah, brother.
But I couldn't do that with Stugotz the other day because he was jumping from studio to studio because I had to work with Billy and stuff. So
I was gonna wear like an inflatable waving man outfit because that's one of my punishments I selected for my only loss this year. And there was a lot
do
of
it for today, right?
Well,
It's
there
gotta
was
be a full 4
well,
hours.
that's the thing. There was some controversies. I was gonna do it earlier in the week, and then they told me no, you can't because Dan's not here. And then they told me you have permission to do it. And I was like, well, I'm not gonna do it. And then
The Giants.
Jessica has the Giants.
And they said
they
back.
are. We already know she's
Yeah.
putting it back there. 3.5-point home underdogs against the Eagles.
they wanted
Commies.
The Washington Commanders.
That's a good one.
are
Playing the
at
Panthers.
home.
Yeah.
The
Great pick.
Panthers, 8-point
Second biggest spread
favorites.
of the week.
yeah.
All
All
right.
right, rummaging.
So I couldn't do it today because it was a shorter show.
I don't think I've won.
You don't
a
think you've won
single-
at all? Have
no.
you paid any of your
I got
penalties?
the Colts.
Dolphins.
Play the Dolphins, yeah. I actually
Colts are
don't
3-point
hate
favorites
it.
at home
I
against
don't
the
hate it. The
Dolphins.
problem is if Anthony Richardson plays, I don't really trust
We still
him
don't know
right
if he's
now.
playing.
He
huh?
is playing, I've read.
He's practicing. I think he's
Which
trending
tier
on
was he
playing.
in?
He was in the jury still out tier because he's been injured.
And-
I'm gonna put it back.
Where was the Dolphins' backup quarterback in this?
Snoop
list?
Hundley didn't make the list. This was starters only.
Is he not starting?
He is, but like you need a bigger sample size of starting.
Interesting.
All right, I got the Bengals
Bengals.
playing the Browns this week. A 5.5-point favorites. I'll take that.
It's an upgrade.
Greatest 1-4 team in the history of football. Is that
2
what
and
they
4.
are? 2-4.
2 and 4. Yeah.
All right, we got Roy coming up next.
See, man,
Roy.
you don't have to shake it.
Reaper's having a
Goddamn.
tough time. Reaper looks like he's had like back surgery. He's just kind of bending straight over.
The New York Giants was going in already. No.
They are a 3.5-point underdog.
At home against the Eagles. Panthers.
No, Las Vegas Raiders.
He got the Raiders, which are a 7-point underdog at the Rams.
Yeah.
I hate this. I almost cursed. I hate this.
Can you lift
Their
it up a little
quarterback
so I
is
don't
in the
cheat?
bad tier.
Yeah, he's not good.
All right. this is
Honestly,
my-
don't know who he is.
Packers.
Went to Purdue.
3-point favorite at home against
Tough
the
game.
Texans.
That's a great game.
Why
by the
was
way.
Aiden O'Connell on your list? He's only played like one game.
He's a
Gardner
starter now
Minshew
because they
wasn't.
benched Minshew.
Oh, okay.
But small sample size. You just
Just two good teams. I don't know what's going to happen
He
there.
was a starter before though. Last
I
year.
should have probably kept that, but I'm going to put it
I
back.
feel like he was okay last year.
And I got the Texans. That's funny. Okay.
All right.
Texans at Packers.
Texans are 3-point dogs at the Packers. It's a pretty big football weekend, is it not?
Huge.
Like,
Yeah.
is it bigger college football weekend or NFL football weekend?
Some are saying best week 7 in NFL history.
NFL history. I thought in college football we have a bunch of great
Yeah, a
matchups.
couple bangers in college football.
It's going to be a great college football weekend, but Chiefs at Niners should be fun, I think.
I got the Falcons. They are hosting the Seahawks.
That's a fun game too. Seahawks Falcons.
I'm gonna put it back. I like a
Wow.
second. I like a second one. They're only 3-point
Just in case,
favorites.
yeah, just in case.
you never know.
We got Texans Packers tonight.
Oh, I got the
not
Titans, so
tonight.
that didn't go well. They are playing at Buffalo. They are 9.5-point underdogs. That blew up in my face.
Thank you, Reaper. Such a gentlemanly Reaper today. I've got the Miami Dolphins. Wow, I really want to keep this.
At
It's
Indy.
just another reason to cheer. I cannot. Who's the quarterback? Snoop. He's not even on a tier. I'm putting this one back.
Attaboy.
Miami Dolphins. It is meant to be. I'm
Wow.
sorry, I didn't mean to throw that. Roy threw his.
You
I
picked
felt like it was
the
okay.
Dolphins twice.
I
Has
did.
that ever happened before?
Has it ever happened before? Are
Yeah.
we supposed to throw it out? I can't remember.
No, you
but it's
got
more
the
of a
Dolphins.
chance to get the same team twice if I'm the last person picking because there's, 5? Hold on. Doesn't somebody have to pick for Stugotz?
No, just
Not
No, it's
this
only
year.
people that are
Yeah,
here.
keep it
yeah.
moving.
No,
Yeah,
he
right
gets
here.
to skate.
Yeah, we
This
don't
is
want to
ruling
set a
by
bad
the.
precedent.
This is ruling by you, Billy. What happened here?
No, just keep the segment moving. People hate it now. Anyways.
the-
Yeah.
Regardless of
So do I.
Regardless of whether you're watching college or NFL, we think that you should use the Game Time app if you're looking to go to sports this weekend. I know that I'm going to a Miami game in a few weeks. I was on the Game Time app last night. You get the view, you get to see where you're sitting. So download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Game Time today. What time is it?
Game time.
What game are you going to?
The I was thinking about going to FSU.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
just perusing those tickets.
Are you a UM person?
No, but I like to go to a game. I like to check out a tailgate once a year.
That's just for the tailgate, just for the experience, just for the drinks. You're not even really cheering on the football.
right. I'm not a big fan.
So, Tony, you said it was, some would say, the best Week 7 slate in NFL. I'm sorry, Chris said that. The best Week 7
I'll second
slate
it,
in NFL history, but it's something you support here. Which are your favorites here?
I'm looking at Lions-Vikings as a big-time game because Vikings are probably the most surprising team in the NFL. Great defense. Their offense has been online. But the Lions, like we said yesterday, and Mina agreed, Lions are a buzzsaw team. So when you see a buzzsaw and I don't know what the Vikings are. I'd have to come up with what the Vikings are. But immovable force and unstoppable object or whatever it's called, bam, putting together. That's a great game.
No, you nailed it.
Texans-Packers could be I don't want to say it's a little too early, but Super Bowl preview? Anybody?
Wow.
Anybody Super Bowl preview with this one?
These are some big games. And you've got, as Jess mentioned, you got the 49ers and the Chiefs. 49ers
Super
are
Bowl
somehow 1.5-point favorites there. Is that just because they're at home? Is it just because of the Chiefs' skill injuries? That one I'm not so sure of.
That's exactly what it is, both of those. You're a bookmaker.
And they
You're-
looked good
nailed it.
last week. I think for the first time in weeks.
The
San Fran
Niners
looked-
did.
Yeah.
Well, the Lions-Vikings is interesting to me because I just am still of the opinion that Sam Darnold is going to experience like an epic collapse. Like, it would have been better off for him if he started off 3-2 or 4-1, right? When you go 5-0 and you show those signs of brilliance, like, people are going to expect it all year. But I saw some signs in that last game of his where I was just like, I feel like a lot of these things are going to come back. Like, he's seeing ghosts, it feels like sometimes, and he's just kind of getting away with it.
That's been his MO, right? Like, he's never really had a season where he's been a very good quarterback, right? Like, he was with the Jets, and that's where that famous seeing ghost line came from, where Bill Belichick was just dialing up blitzes, and he was throwing it to whoever. It didn't matter. And then he went to Carolina, wasn't good there, then was a backup in San Francisco, and then goes to Minnesota, and everybody's like, there's no way Minnesota's going to have him as a starting quarterback, right? Draft J.J. McCarthy, he's out for the season. It's like, no, we're sticking with Sam Darnold, and all of a sudden they're 5-0. Is that the defense? Is that Kevin O'Connell? Is that Justin Jefferson?
He
What
might
is
be
the
getting
mix?
lucky again in this one against the Lions because Mina gave that wild stat yesterday. I think Aiden Hutchinson had like 40 quarterback pressures and nobody else on his team had more than 7.
Yeah, exactly.
So the fact that Darnold's probably going to have more time than he would have if Hutchinson was in there, probably going to make him look good again. But that injury made me sad. And yesterday there was more injury news that made me sad. And it was not NFL related. Sorry, transition, Roy. Kawhi Leonard. Missing, thank you. Missing this indefinitely with another knee injury, and you just hear people calling for his retirement. And coincidentally, like I think 1 through 10 of the ESPN rankings came out, and I don't know what Kawhi was ranked, but I would only rank people, even include them if they're ranked, if I thought they were going to be available for the playoffs. And Kawhi has just had so much misfortune, and it's honestly, like when people say when people say Tua should retire, I feel more so Kawhi should retire. I just feel he's so unfortunate.
So if you were making tiers, you would put him in a tier that's called retire.
Yeah.
Retirement tiers.
Who
Don't
else
use
is in that
maker,
tier?
though. Do not use tier maker.
Retier.
Don't use. Can I use like reversetiermaker.com or just start with purple if that's good enough?
Why is Sam Darnold on the jury still out?
Because we've never seen him be good. This is the first time he's been good, so the jury's like, we've never really had
And
to talk
Baker's
about Sam
good
Darnold.
enough?
Yeah, of course. Baker, dark horse MVP.
Do you think Kawhi would have been able to play this season if he hadn't gone to those 2 Team USA practices?
Wow.
That's the funny part. It's just it seems like we've been getting warnings from the beginning that he wasn't going to be able to make it, or make it to the season, through the season. But that's the wild part. Like, the way people are going to remember Kawhi Leonard. Like, he just dotted a couple of, like, crazy eras, right? He won a championship, like, at the tail end of LeBron and the super team era, was the finals MVP, but people probably still think of Tony Parker, Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili first, even with that team. And then at the tail end of the Warriors dynasty and before he could actually even continue that, because you knew he was going to leave Toronto, he wins another championship there. And there were moments where people were saying he was the best player in the league, which is wild because he couldn't even stay out there long enough. But when he was out there in his prime, it was a discussion. Like, he could lock up anybody and he was almost Mr. Fundamentals of the perimeter there. So the way people will remember Kawhi, not saying he's going to retire now, but I just don't see much in his future, is it's just a large swing one way or the other.
Like you said, like
Well, that's one way they'll remember him.
they'll always remember him for that. But
That's all I'm going to remember, honestly.
I mean, the shot against Philly is one that I'll remember too. Like the bouncing shot, that was a big one. But you're right, it's like, how do you put a guy in a legacy tier where you're like, you were so great when you were there, but you just weren't available enough, right? You were with a great team in San Antonio. Then you basically create your own team that wins a championship in Toronto. And it's like, but I can't think of any other thing of Kawhi Leonard outside of 2014 and 2019.
So he has to be his own separate tier. Like, there's just a Kawhi Leonard tier. He's just by himself. Nobody else, when they're healthy, leads a team to a championship and then never healthy again.
Well, do you have to retire first to then be in a different set of tiers where you can have a legacy tier? Or is legacy tier and retired tier include all of the tiers that encompass current and retired players?
That is a good question, because I think when you've got him, it's not a good question, but
No,
it made me think. It made me think that Kawhi,
It's Friday, SNA day, Izzy.
because he's currently still playing, and people want him to still play, be dominant, make a playoff run, I think they're judging him harshly. Whereas if he was to retire and you just look back at his career, I think it's like Tony said, you probably look at it pretty fondly and say, hey, this guy's had the misfortune of having these injuries, but dang it, when he was healthy, I don't care if it was, the back end of the Warriors and they were all hurt. That Heat team was pretty healthy when they were playing.
And the Spurs offense was incredible, led by him. Like, he was at one point almost the best two-way player in the league, right? Defensively, he was number one. And then offensively, he could just get to any spot, make any shot. His mid-range game was awesome. Started developing a three at a little bit towards the back end of his career, but it was like he was just a force on the court, and then he was just gone. And he was supposed to be the anchor of that Clipper team, right? It was like the next super team, Paul George, James Harden, and Kawhi. And it's like, now you're looking across, Paul George's in Philly, Harden's like, and you're like, what? Like, what did Ballmer buy?
And there's a lot of injuries, a lot of people with injury histories where you're just like, I can predict what's going to happen. Call me a hater. Those Clippers team was never going to win a championship with Kawhi Leonard and Paul George as their two guys, and now they're in different places. Roy, can you hit me with a transition real quick?
Transition.
Can we do refrán del día, please?
Of course we can.
Well, there's debate on whether Tony came up with that either, so we're not really sure.
Came up with, where did we steal that from? Was there a big gato?
Saying of the day, real original.
Somebody else.
I used to have a refrán del día in my Spanish speech and writing class.
Yeah, see?
So,
What year was that?
Oh, I feel like 10th grade. Shout out to Miss Armengol if she's still with us.
Is she?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I haven't remained in contact.
Who would be competing with Tony?
Just cutting off Billy on him.
Dímelo, mi gente! Guys, Refrán del Día is presented by Hulu. Don't miss the new Spanish language original series, La Maquina, which is awesome. I started watching it. All episodes are streaming now on Hulu. It's like a boxing show mixed with kind of like a mystery with the mafia, with some dark underworld tones. Very exciting. All in Spanish language. If you don't speak Spanish, just put on the subtitles. Very fun show. Refrán del Día brought to you by La Maquina on Hulu.
I got the wheel this time.
All right, let's spin it. Spinning.
Make sure you wait.
Ooh, this is a fun one. Billy's going to like this one for sure because he's been told this one a bunch. I like how it comes before I actually say it.
That was in English, yeah.
That makes me happy. Today's Refrán del Día is Casa del Carajo.
Casa del Carajo. What do we normally do here? Do we give the literal translation and then what it means?
I know what casa means.
Yeah, Casa
House.
del
I'm gonna let Billy go take.
There's lots of casas.
Yes.
Where things can be. Lots
Right.
of casas.
Billy, would you like to explain Casa del Carajo? What is Casa del Carajo?
If you're using it the same way that I'm thinking of it being used, it's like you ask, like, where is that? And then they'll tell you, like, Casa Carajo, which means it's far as hell.
It's very
basically.
far away.
It's like Hell's House.
Exactly. It's like very far away.
BFE.
But carajo, I feel like, is usable in many different ways. Is it
Yes.
not? Isn't it just a flat out, like, damn it, or, like
Yes.
Yeah.
a S-word type of situation?
Yes, exactly. Just like in Spanish, there's a lot of different meanings for a singular word, right?
Yeah.
Carajo, the actual translation of carajo is a crow's nest, like on a ship, right? Where you have the person who's out there, like, looking for land.
Really?
Yeah, so that's what a carajo is. It's
Yeah.
a crow's nest that somebody would go out there, and that's where the saying, vete pa carajo, you're going up to the crow's
Gotcha.
nest, and you're looking out and trying to find land. Vete pa carajo, eso tan
Can
casa
I ask
carajo.
you if this phrase that
Very
I've
far
heard
up?
all the time growing up translates to a different household? Dominican household is my household.
It's a bad word.
And my mom would always say, vaya pa la Hoya Cola. I have no idea what that means. Just go somewhere like really far, or that thing is in
Possibly.
the Hoya Cola. I have no idea what that meant ever, and I never thought about a translation. I never heard it anywhere else. Have you ever heard that?
I have not, but I can ask Frankie,
Thank you.
who's part of the same Dominican tribe, you, Frankie, Cynthia, at least here on our team. So I can ask him and then come back with an answer. But
So, like-
today's our fan de dia, casa carajo.
Can we use it in a sentence, like including Billy?
Yeah, like, including Billy?
Yeah, like put Billy in the sentence.
Okay. So Billy, me and you, can we go over to Izzy's house? But the problem is, in traffic, it's tan casa carajo.
That's true. I was actually thinking about having a boat day again because
Hey,
We're
all
back.
right.
See that? That was layered.
I like it.
He combined two words, and he also brought in.
Yeah,
The other
he's been
joke.
thinking about that one for a
Yeah.
minute because our new best friend Ethan and I took the Bright Line home yesterday. It was a very pleasant experience. I
Special.
felt bad because we were sitting in like.
What are you doing there?
I felt bad because we were sitting in like. Is it? Somebody help me out here. Is it handicap seating or is it
Oh,
the
I don't
different?
think
It's
that's
different,
it.
right?
No,
you're
it's.
good.
I don't think.
I'll let it ride. You're good.
The seating with all the extra space in front, and my legs were just all stretched out, and I just felt really bad about it. But Ethan, our buddy, and I decided, hey, we should have a boat day. And I forgot why I was talking about this. I just pulled the Chris.
Casa carajo.
You
Ah,
and
Casa
you
del
and
Carajo,
you
that's
and
right.
Ethan want to go on a boat
So you
together.
guys want to
Video's
come up to the
buffering.
Casa del Carajo, and we can have a boat day.
Do you have a carajo on your boat?
No.
That
What
would
do
be
we
cool.
call those? Those are called like tuna something.
Like a
tuna
fishing
towers.
tower.
Those are tuna towers.
Fishing tower.
You go up there and you're like, there's a fish. Hit me with a transition, Roy.
Transition.
Jess, what is your obsession, or what is college football's obsession with flag planting? Because I saw that Texas, I believe, planted their flag through the jersey of Baker Mayfield. Was that last week?
Yes, last weekend, two very notable flag planting incidents. One in which Texas players put the flag at the center of the field after they beat Oklahoma through a Baker Mayfield jersey, which he was then asked about, and he was like, I've been living in their heads rent-free for 10 years, which I thought was a very classic Baker move. And then another flag planting incident, Izzy, where James Franklin stopped the Penn State players from putting their flag at midfield at the game against USC, and he was like, no, don't do it, stop. And it was already too late. They were at midfield with the giant flag. My question, though, about this whole phenomenon, because I don't think Notre Dame's ever done this. I don't think I've ever been in the vicinity of a college football team attempting to do this, but the flag, this is a very stupid question. The flag doesn't stay. Like, they just, like, put it down, and then someone just holds it, and then at some point they just decide to walk away. I don't get that.
I mean, it's the equivalent of, Terrell Owens doing the football, on the star, right? Just kind of throwing it down and then doing his sign. I don't get it. I do want to talk about that Penn State one, though. Was this something that they do every week? So this was sort of a
This
new...
is like a thing you do when you beat a team on the road, and not every team has done it, but it'll occasionally happen. I don't know if it's like the MO of specific teams, but this was a big road win for Penn State, so they did it.
So it happens after the game.
Yes.
Right, not before the game where people get into a fight and stuff like that. So does the losing team still hold that personally? Do they still stay out there and defend their field, or do they just go back to their locker room?
This was like after, I don't think anyone was even really on the field at this point, at least from the video that I saw. But it just feels like a very strange thing where you just like take your little flag out to midfield and you just hold it there and you stand there. And then you're like, we did it. And then you just kind of like leave.
It feels like a very strange thing for James Franklin to be upset, to actually have to deal with and be out on the field and stop them. Like, first of all, I don't know where they get the flags from, maybe the cheerleading squad or whatever, but just go ahead and watch it happen and then reprimand them in the locker room. The idea of him being this hero who stops it as sportsmanship, in the name of sportsmanship.
Stop, no. He was so upset.
He probably knows he's going to blow a game soon. You know what I mean? Like in classic James Franklin fashion, he knows he's going to blow it, and then there's going to be like the video of him. Yeah, like, oh, look, there he is letting his team run around.
It was the perfect win for the Stugotzes of the world because it was a very big win on the road at USC. However, USC wasn't ranked, so it won't count towards his ranking of, big games that he hasn't won. But it should still count because it was a big win. But the Stugotzes of the world will get to put an asterisk by it.
Who has to take the flag out and then bring it back inside? Like, who they claim the field as their own, and then what, does like a water boy come up and be like, okay, it's not really our field anymore. We're just going to take this flag inside. Like, when the flag gets back in the locker room, are there players like disappointed? Like, what the hell, man? I planted my flag.
I have a lot of questions about the logistics of this. I'm not going to lie. It's just not something that I'm familiar with. I've never done it. I've never seen it up close. So when I see it happening and I see a coach getting really upset about it and he's like, don't disrespect the other team, I just find it all very funny. I think that the Baker Mayfield thing is more disrespectful because it's like, okay, guys, he's
when was he there last? Like, it's been such a long
2018,
time. It's
yeah.
like, if I were him, I would treat it the exact same way. Pat myself on the back and say, like, wow, they still can't get over
kind
me.
of like, haha.
The closest I've gotten to planting a flag was at a beach when I'm trying to dig in the umbrella. God, that's hard.
It's great, though, that when you do plant your flag and you get your territory, if you get to the beach on time and then it fills up and you're just like, wow, I did this. Speaking of seeing things up close for the first time, I was driving in this morning. I saw two things. Thank you, Roy. Yeah. I saw two things that I'd never really seen up close, and I was very happy to see them both, only because the first one I wasn't so happy to see, actually. It was a car fire. Oh. And it was just just a car absolutely just in flames, and everybody it was on the opposite side of the expressway, and so everybody slows down. But I hadn't actually driven right by it.
Rubberneckers, though, right? Do you ever pass a crash and you're like, I'm not doing it.
I'm not going to look.
I'm looking forward here.
Even though you're already going slow anyway. You're only doing that for yourself. It's not like there are other drivers who are like, hey, who's looking? Oh, he's not looking. He's a good guy. He's
it's just
driving.
so annoying when that's what we've waited on. I've been in traffic for 45 minutes and it's just an accident on the other side of the highway that people just want to.
Not gonna lie, I took my phone out for this one.
You took your phone out?
Yeah. I mean, we were going so slow as it was. No, I just took a little video. I'm sure it was happening. The other one I might have if I'd had the video of it. I finally saw, actually I thought it was two people, but it was just one, getting sort of their comeuppance for crossing the express lane poles, right? Oh. So I saw somebody do it, and he nearly got into an accident doing it. And so we're still driving. I hadn't gotten to the express lane yet, and I look up, and there's cop lights. And I'm like, yes, they pulled that dude over. Finally, somebody gets it, and I get to watch it happen. No, it was not quite as good. It was another person just ahead of us who had tried to cross and got T-boned. And so there was somebody who had just done it, and his very next experience, literally 5 seconds later, is to see somebody in an accident having just done it. I wonder if that person is just like, wow, I absolutely got away with one today, because he or she definitely did almost get hit. But I was thinking about that as I was driving. I'm just like, man, a lot of terrible things can happen to you on a commute to work every day. Like, that's like a war zone, it looked like. Somebody just got T-boned and was standing in the middle of the expressway. Another person's car is on fire. I think we all are going to die. Jesus. Probably not the way I wanted to go there. Yeah. How are the vibes,
Roy? Transition us away, please.
Yes, transition. Get out of here.
Get out of here.
Kicking him out?
I mean, not get out of here, but
get off this subject.
Get off this subject.
I do want to check in on the vibes because Billy's just the vibes captain today.
I thought I came to bring good vibes today. I feel
you
like
didn't.
I mean, you did start off by telling Tony's tears were a controversy that we're going to rip the company apart, and it's really just because everybody uses the same website.
I didn't bring those vibes. I just was reporting the news. I'm sorry.
He is a reporter sometimes.
Yeah,
He's
like
a journalist,
do we blame
Dookie
whoever
bomb.
whoever the Jim Cantori for Hurricanes? No, he's just telling you what's going
Well,
on.
some
Exactly
people
right.
do now.
Really?
Yeah.
I was,
people
told,
blame-
I was told by Jason in my headset that the reason there was only one camera on Tony was because Taylor told him that it was only going to last a minute or two.
Per quarterback.
Got lied to.
You're going to have to get to the bottom of this.
Per quarterback.
I saw Willow was in the office today. Do you guys know who Ben Herbstreit is? I know you know who Kirk Herbstreit is. Have
Yeah.
you guys talked about Ben
Oh, of
Herbstreit on the show?
course. Oh yeah.
So we've talked about his little press passes where he had one in Alabama that said line barker.
Oh.
And he had one in South Carolina that said wide retriever.
Oh, cute.
That's funny.
I didn't see that one. But Izzy, I'm not going to lie, Ben Herbstreit, a little bit of a controversial topic. A lot of people are sick of him. They think that he's getting way too much exposure, enough with the dog, et cetera, et cetera.
He was at a Dolphins game, though. He was the chief happiness officer.
I'm just telling you,
Just like Billy.
this isn't my
Vibes.
Today, you're the chief happiness officer.
This isn't my take. I love Ben Herbstreit. He is a good dog, but I do see people roll their eyes at him now, and I'm with you. Anytime you make a press pass for a dog, Charles Leclerc in F1, his dog Leo, he gets press passes all the time at F1 races. Every time it gets me. Every single time. I can't help it but just be like, "Aw."
Do they not like Ben because he's got 3 siblings at home? They're probably not related, but he's got 3 other golden retrievers at home, and he's the only one who gets to travel?
I think it's just a we see too much Ben situation. I'm not, and again, not my opinion, but Billy, I see the way that you roll your eyes sometimes when Ben Herbstreit gets brought up.
Well, I mean, Ben Herbstreit got his own show.
Did he?
Yeah, I mean, there's only a certain number of shows you're giving one to a dog. Like, get out of here. You're not Lassie.
Or
First
Lenny.
Lenny, now Ben.
Who's the college football analyst that can't get their dog credentialed though? That's what I want to know. Like
Matt Berry.
Like Matt Berry's like, I want to bring my dog.
poor Matt
Herbie did,
Berry.
and they're just like, ooh, we're out of credentials.
I feel like Matt
Sorry,
Berry
Matt.
could. Matt Berry.
Probably what happened with Robert Griffin III. Couldn't bring his dog, so he quit. But I saw Ben meeting with Uga, I think it was, of Georgia.
Ooh, how'd that go?
I mean, they seemed to get along just fine.
Sniff butts.
But I think they were just nose to nose at this point, not
okay.
butt to nose.
Sniffing nose.
But was there another sort of controversy involving mascots for you, Jess?
Well, there was this sort of odd thing that happened the other day. So Lehman's a huge football fan, but he's not like as big of a college football fan as me, I would say. So I said a sentence the other day, and his reaction was just like a complete blank stare. And that sentence was, "Do you remember when Bevo attacked Uga?" And he just stared at me and was like, "What did you just say? I have no idea what you're talking about."
Wow.
And the reason I thought of that was because Texas and Georgia are playing this weekend, and the last time they played was the 2019 Sugar Bowl, where Bevo got loose in his like corral and sort of like lunged at Uga, the Georgia Bulldogs dog, and like Bevo's a huge Longhorn, like he's a big ass.
Is it a white? Is it brown? Is it
Brown.
It's
multicolored?
mixed. It's a mixed color.
Mixed. Yeah, mixed. Yeah.
It's not important.
It is important. The description of Bevo.
I'm trying to envision the large animal attacking another animal. I'd
Painting a
like to
picture.
know what
I'm
color
just saying
it is.
I don't see any of that.
Well, now
so-
we've got images of it. Now we've
don't
got
see
pictures
color.
of it from that
I
Sugar
see what
Bowl.
you're doing, Chris. Yeah, there's Uga just
So
kind of
helpful,
minding his own
Chris. Thank
business,
you.
and then all of a sudden comes charging.
Yo, forget about Uga. I mean, there's.
I mean, there were people in the mix also, yes. But yes, Bevo, big steer, just sort of
some
charges.
lady. This lady right here almost gets decapitated. Luckily, she just ducks and the horn goes right over her.
I think her
head.
shoe fell off too.
Holy
I kind of remember.
shit.
Were there people saying that Uga was wearing like bright red, and that's why? That
I mean, it's Georgia. That's their color.
right. But I think this is way too close to actual humans and a football game to be happening. Has this like been ruled out? Can this still happen, or is this still going on the sidelines of important games for Texas?
Also, probably a bad idea to put a bulldog next to a bull. You know?
Well, yeah, I think that was the main takeaway, Roy.
Good takeaway, Roy.
Yeah, nailed it.
You got there.
Probably a bad idea.
But anyways,
I'm with you.
I'm
Roy.
really excited for this weekend because this is going to be a great college football game, and I'm excited to see Georgia at Texas. It's also, like I mentioned yesterday, U.S. Grand Prix in Austin this weekend. I wish I could have gone, but they told me it was too expensive. But it's going to be a great sports weekend at Texas, and I really hope there's no incidents with livestock this weekend because that was a scary time for everyone.
I was supposed to be. I'm actually going to Austin for a flag football tournament in a couple of months, and normally they have it on Columbia or Indigenous Peoples Day weekend, but they had to move it back because they had Austin city limits. But I think this F1 event is another reason why it wasn't. So I got to go win a championship on Halloween. But I'm curious about in Texas, where they say if you got 2 quarterbacks, you have none.
Also,
Texas-
everything's bigger.
Right. Texas seems to have 2 quarterbacks, but they're not utilizing both of them, right? They're because they're too similar in style.
Well, no, Quinn Ewers is the starter. He is like definitively the better quarterback and has tons of experience. And you could see that his experience this season has been a huge difference maker for them. Like he's gotten better year over year, and so I think that his ability is just a lot higher than Arch Manning. But Arch Manning, as like a fill-in while Ewers was hurt, did a really nice job. He made a couple mistakes, but like, yeah, he's young. He's a sophomore. Did not expect to start this season. So they have a good backup quarterback, which I think is something that, a lot of teams throughout a long season, if your starter gets hurt and you have someone that can come in and just manage the offense, make some nice throws, win a game, that's a super important thing. Depth is incredibly important in a long college football season. So it's good that they have him there. Ewers looked fine last weekend against Oklahoma. It was his first game back, but was like a little shaky at the start maybe. So that'll be something to keep an eye on in this game. But Ewers has been playing well, and I think he's a really good quarterback.
Jess, do you think that Arch Manning, when it's all said and done, like in his career at Texas, seeing that he stays at Texas, does he have a higher ceiling than Quinn Ewers? That like in a couple years we're looking at Arch Manning being like, oh wow, he's a round one, pick one kind of quarterback.
That's a great question. I think it depends what you think of Ewers now in terms of like his NFL prospects. But I think that the Texas program has gotten to a point where they're like consistently recruiting really excellently. And so I think that the ceiling for the program's really high, which then I think like also raises his ceiling individually.
So I was of the opinion that Arch Manning was of the Mannings. Like he was going to be the next big thing. And am I wrong here? A sophomore in college football, even at the quarterback position, is it still like young? Aren't we expecting a sophomore, if you're great, to be great by then?
Well, no, I don't think that's necessarily. It depends on your situation, I think. Like, I think if Manning had decided to transfer because he wanted to start as a sophomore, it would have been not a huge surprise because we've seen other quarterbacks do that. But given how much Texas put into the recruiting of him and the buy-in that like he has committed himself to with Sark and with the Texas program, like I think it depends on the person, of course, but like I think it makes a lot of sense for him to stay and have another year where he's not playing or is only starting, as a reserve, versus go somewhere else where you maybe didn't really want to go to school 2 years ago and then start over with a new coach. So like there's definitely pros and cons to it. Like some players have a really short window where they're like, I want to start now.
He's just not in a hurry, it feels like.
Yeah, and Texas is really good. Like I think it makes sense to want to be on a team that has a real shot at winning a national championship and winning an SEC championship, which Texas was in the playoff last year and was one game away from playing in the national championship. So I personally could not, like I wouldn't want to leave that. That sounds pretty awesome.
Well, he redshirted too, right? So like he still has eligibility, and he knew he was going to be behind Quinn Ewers.
Yeah,
so, like,
exactly.
He kind of signed up for this, and he just knew my time is going to come next year.
It almost seems like he's got enough experience in his family to figure out, hey, I don't want to be like, is it granddad who didn't win anything in college? I want to be like uncles, right? But I got plenty of time to be there. Even if I were to get to the NFL at the age of 21, probably would struggle. So he's just kind of going through the motions and doing it, I guess, old school.
He also, by the way, is like cashing in because he's like making a ton of NIL money without even starting. Like his name and just his skill set. Like he came out this year and no one was expecting him to play, but he played because of injury and he did decent enough, right? But like he's still cashing checks, just kind of sitting there.
Yeah, I think he's doing fine. He has a very nice situation. Like the last year's backup to Ewers did transfer because he knew that Arch would be the preferable player to come in if he left, I think. So that's kind of like the different situation where different players are on different timelines and sort of have different opportunities that they can take. And of course, like it matters too where you can transfer and what that situation is. But I think Texas is in a really nice place right now. So I think it would have been pretty weird if he decided to go that abruptly.
I'm so glad we're talking Texas right now because I know Jen CFB talked about this Cooper Manning hat that he wore this week.
Yeah.
But we just need to talk about it here for a second. Just put it up, guys. I mean, what is going on with this hat? Is he going for a joke? Because this is one of the most ridiculous looking cowboy hats I've ever seen.
Everything's bigger in Texas.
Is it just a sunny day and he's just like, I need coverage?
Cooper Manning, he's got an oversized cowboy hat, but it's not just oversized. It's like
over
curved, yeah. And the
Urban
funny
sombrero.
part is, and I don't know if this is just this photo and it's unfortunate, but no part of that hat is providing shade for his face right now. It's all sun, and he's still got
That's a good
sunglasses.
point. I
Tony's
actually
right, though,
had
sombrero
noticed that.
vibes.
He's completely in the sun. He is getting sunburnt despite the size.
Somehow.
This hat is so big, it reminds me of the cop in Scary Movie 3, where every time they cut back to her hat gets bigger and bigger. And this is like a
great shot.
comic
This would be
God,
great for
that's
him.
so
This should
good.
be his thing. Next week, just
Comically
1
large
inch
hat.
bigger, and you don't even notice.
and then by the end of the season, his hat is taking up an entire section of the stadium.
Why? See,
It also appears he's standing like on the stairs, like not in the
Is
section.
this the Mannings are sneaky hilarious and he's doing this just for attention to be funny? Or is this like a functional hat, which at the moment happens to not be working for him whatsoever?
I don't know. We'd have to ask him. I don't know what his decision making was.
His posture too is like it's almost like he's crammed. Like if he's in a subway car that's like really tight. Why are his arms like so close together? Why not stretch out a little?
When
bit?
you're that crammed, the last thing you need is a giant hat.
Right.
And the guy in front of him's digging for gold, trying to pick a
you're
booger right there.
I like that you can not like he's wearing sunglasses and a hat that's covering half his face, and you still look at him and you're like, oh yeah, that's Manning.
Yeah.
Can we zoom in on the guy digging for gold?
Yeah,
there?
and then
Because
hit the video. Let's see if he.
I'm curious in just how comfortable people are.
See if he finds
with that.
anything.
Wow, he's going 2 fingers. He's kind of going to squeeze to get that in the middle there.
No.
Why is
Let's
it that
see.
you're
Right
so
there.
much more comfortable picking your nose when you're driving? Like, I don't care whatsoever if anybody catches me, like the whole Jerry Seinfeld bit where he's like, oh, no pig, no
I was
pig."
scratching.
Yeah. But, like, I don't care if somebody catches
not a
me.
pig.
Like, I'm probably never going to see you again. I'm not going to flick it onto your car. Like, it's okay for me to pick my nose.
Where are you
going
gonna put it?
That's another great question because Anthony and I have had these conversations around the house. Like, if you go around the house, and it's not necessarily a booger thing, but if there's certain pockets in the house, if like a housekeeper hasn't gotten there, and housekeepers only come like once a year, there's a pile of nail clippings somewhere in the house. Yeah, it's usually like behind the couch,
Against the wall on the couch.
Yeah, so you do that too, right?
dust it.
And then there's times where
No.
he's like, "Hey, nobody's ever gonna see that. It's no big deal." Here's the other thing, and if you come over, I'm sorry,
I'm never coming
I'll
over.
have cleaned up. I
Where's your
promise.
house
It's
again?
resolved.
Casa carajo.
Casa del
I'm-
carajo.
By
Another
Messi.
reason not to go.
This is, I think, a universal male thing. To correct me if I'm wrong here. If you're kind of like digging, you don't really get gold, you get some silver nuggets, just kind of disappear into nowhere. You just kind of flick it into the air, into nowhere, and it just disappears. Like if you were to look at your finger. By the way, my finger's so gross right now. It creeps me out because it's like broken, and I haven't really had it checked out. And every time I look down, I'm like, I forget, and it looks like it looks gross. It looks like it's broken. But
Duh.
I think I'm gonna let you talk this one out.
which part?
You'll
Convince
get there.
yourself. Yeah.
The booger thing. Just talk it out.
No, yeah. So if you actually see it on your hands, you'll be like, "Oh, there's something there." But if you don't look and you just kind of do one of those, it just kind of disappears into the air. You assume that the next
it
time you
falls.
vacuum, you're going to pick it up at some point. I don't. Am I wrong? Is that not something that people do?
So gross.
People definitely do that.
But you're not supposed to ask, right? Like I've seen.
I've never asked anyone where their booger just went.
I've been thinking about it at home because I'm just like, I'll just see Anthony just do something like that. Like he'll just,
Wow,
throw his
you
hands
caught
to
him
the
in
side.
act.
And I don't. I want to ask, but I'm like, do I want to know the answer?
But then also
do I
you do
want
the
to
same
pull on
thing.
that thread? I kind of do.
So it's like
I have
caught myself
I have a
doing it.
suggestion for you.
What's up?
A tissue.
Wow.
At all times, huh?
Yeah.
Is
I
that why
keep
people have tissue boxes around
pack in the
house?
car. Yeah, pack in
I
the
thought
car.
that was just like a white people thing. I don't know. I thought people like cry for random reasons.
to
so they
America?
just had tissues. Yeah, I have no idea.
That white people just had tissue boxes around because they'd break out in
Well,
tears.
allergies
Tony's
and breaking
tears.
out in breaking out in Tony's
Can't do that.
tears.
Sorry.
I thought that was just a white people thing.
Not allowed to
growing up.
cry anymore. Yeah.
Nobody cries or has allergies.
Big
ever.
Cat cried first.
I'm a little disappointed that Chris wasn't with me on that one.
I could see you looking for me as an
Yeah.
ally, and I was just
But
like,
you-
"Oh, this is what this is
But
like."
you were there
when
on the
someone
nail
does
clippings,
something.
though. You seemed
Yeah.
to be there on the nail clippings. You just didn't want to go that next.
Well, he
step
wanted to
of
add the dusting
disgustingness.
part. He really liked the
Yeah, the
dusting.
dusting.
If you go to
That's
Izzy's
funny.
house, keep your shoes on because there's boogers and nails everywhere.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That was also my takeaway.
Yeah.
Izzy,
Thank
it's
you.
tough when you.
I encourage people to take off their shoes.
not
when they
really
come to my
tough,
house.
it's more
That's
like
where
a-
the boogers go. They get stuck on strangers'
No, it's
shoes.
tough
that's
when
Or
you
like
bring
a-
up-
they're not there.
more of like a
I can't do that.
smooth texture than tough, I'd say.
No, it's tough when you bring up
Oh.
a topic that is so disgusting and not even Chris
Yeah.
will just go with it just
Yeah.
for the hell of the
Wow, not
show,
even
which
Chris.
is his
No.
specialty.
It's,
How about
I'm
this?
usually there for people, but that one I was like, "Ooh, he picks his nose in his house."
How about this? Transition.
Wait,
That's a lie.
you can go. I have a transition if you need one.
Yes,
I'll-
please.
And if I need
Go
to
ahead.
clear my nose, I'll just go.
He keeps going.
Where did that go?
Little
Yeah.
snot rocket.
Billy?
Taylor Swift's in town. I know that
T-Sizzle.
this is a talk of the town. Even though I forgot that she was in town this weekend, because like I did the whole thing where I tried to get tickets like for myself and my wife.
How much were they?
Oh, I didn't get them because I couldn't. They're like super crazy expensive right now. Like even now they're crazy expensive, and it's like, am I gonna
like 4 figures expensive?
I'm talking. I think it would have cost me like $17,000 to take me, my wife, and my kid.
You got that, buddy.
Well, it was like good. It would have been like decent seats, but it like that. I'm not even exaggerating.
There's seats on there. I went on Game Time and I looked it out. There's seats on there like $20,000. Like it's insane.
Is that Hard
what
Rock?
people are trying to like.
So much.
You
Get
paid $20,000 for you and your family.
No, that's a ticket. One
ticket.
Yeah.
You paid $20,000 for one ticket, Chris. Are you then breaking out your phone and recording every second of it, or are you living in the moment?
I don't know what I'm doing.
Well,
I'm just judging my daughter the whole time. You better enjoy this.
Put it this way: you're doing all right if you're paying $20,000 a ticket.
Like,
You're doing all right.
you could get upper deck for like over $1,000, but still, it's ridiculous. Like the seats are crazy, which makes me wonder. Like, are you guys people that like hoard tickets? Like, if an event comes, you'll buy extras and then sell it. And if so, what's the most you've sold a ticket for, like on a resale?
I've always fancied myself someone who wants to be that guy, but I stink at like the whole
I've
like.
done it. I know Billy. I know you've done it.
It's hard to like actually get these tickets. It's like 10 a.m. They go on sale. It's like you got to be on your shit to get these tickets.
Yeah,
and I'm not.
I don't keep any tickets. Doesn't your dad keep old credentials, Chris?
He does have like a drawer full of credentials.
I
yes.
keep old credentials. I don't know why. I don't.
I
know
have
what
all
I'm
my
doing with
credentials
them.
too. I have them like hanging like on the little
They
hook
take
by
up
my
so
door.
much space. Honestly, if I got rid of them, I could probably get Halloween decorations because they take up so much space. I'm looking right now. It looks like before fees, like $800 for the upper deck for T.
Do all in pricing on Game Time. That's what I do.
Chris, if you
I will
knew
check it out.
that your daughter would be so inspired by that concert that she would work to be a pop star of her own, and whether or not she's successful.
This was my pitch to my mom to try to get her to buy tickets. By the way,
Your mom? Is your mom going, or she's just going to buy tickets for you?
I was just like, maybe my mom and I just wanted my daughter to see, like, she's very into Taylor Swift, and like my
Disney
daughter.
Plus.
Are
What's
people
the
from her
number you
school
would
going to
pay?
see her? And like she's going to go to school, and the other kids are going to be
No,
there. And then,
she goes to public school.
What's the number you would pay for out of pocket if you thought that was to be the case? If
His,
you
her,
thought
his
you
daughter's
taking
his daughter's at the age where you have the uncomfortable conversation. You're like, you're never going to be a pop star. Not paying $6,000 for you to go see a concert. You're not,
unless
you're not a good
she's
singer.
inspired
Chief
by
happiness
Taylor
officer.
Swift.
My
10,000
daughter.
chief
The
reality
funny thing
officer.
is my daughter has like done this thing like of like trying to like write songs and stuff and show her creative side, and yeah,
Chris, can you
she's not a pop
please
star.
put a price on your daughter's dreams?
$10,000.